What's going on, world? It's your boy, Over. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. One. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right. And welcome to the author's channel. Just want to make this brief video, man. Basically, this is a part two. So when I talked about the Cosby situation with the trial, quote unquote scandal. How I said earlier that it was unsafe. I don't think Hollywood is a safe place for the black man. I believe black man should stay away from that like the plague. But I talked about my last video, man, briefly about how Bill Cosby, when he had his show, The Cosbys, when he played Bill Huxtable, how that show was very impactful. It helped. It was groundbreaking as far as black shows. It helped many black, Americans believe that they could attend college, even if they didn't have the means, even if they're in the inner city, and which I was the inner city kid at that time, and how it was very powerful. And then it just seems like he had this, lately in the past few years. I mean, the allegations have been out there since I think 2008. But over the past few years, it's like it's been a witch hunt to get him with all these sexual assault charges that were brought against him, and he was ultimately convicted in the second trial. And I mentioned things like maybe what could have caused that, like the NBC type thing where he wanted to buy or purchase NBC, but they didn't want to sell to him. Another thing too, man, that I remembered after I made the video was that at one point, Bill Cosby said in like 2005 that he didn't like the way, I think he was on some type of show. I forget the show. A friend had told me about it though, and I researched it. He said that he didn't like, the way that the black community was going, and he didn't like the direction the black community was going in. I think he used the phrase or the term, "Who are these people?" when he referred to the black community. So, who are these people? I don't know these people. And then he used examples like he said it was like 8-year-old kids in school under the lunchroom table having oral sex, and he was pretty much talking about the deterioration of the black family, of the black nuclear family. And a lot of conservative blacks agreed with him. I agreed with him to a certain point. But after that, people felt, I think some civil rights leaders came up against Mr. Cosby after he made those allegations. One being Al Sharpton. He said that Bill Cosby must not forget that he is, black as well. So he shouldn't make those type of allegations and things of that nature. And it is, I guess, kind of taboo to critique the black community, even if you're black, considering, all the other factors that are involved. That's what some people feel. Excuse me. I wasn't totally against what Bill Cosby said, during that time. But I just think that some older black men tend to, and just like the white Republicans, they examine the end result, but they don't examine the root of the problem. I repeat, they examine the end result when it comes to the black community. They examine the end result, but they never look at the root. They'll say, "Oh yeah, the black, kids or blacks are 13% of the population, but they cause over 50% of the homicides." And actually, the percentage is less than that when you look at most of the homicides. Most of those homicides that are being committed aren't by the majority of black people, but they're by young black males between 18 to 25. But they'll look at that, which is the end result, but they won't look at the root. The root being poverty causes dysfunction. Not to say we're the only race and poverty, and that not to say that there aren't third world countries that don't have worse poverty issues than we have. But if you look, I've been across the world as well, all across the world. If you look at any uh, group that's below the poverty level in that country, then you're going to see the you're going to see the most social problems in those regions. So it's more of a poverty thing. Now, me myself, I don't like the way that blacks do not, stick together. In terms of being consumers, I think more of us should want to be entrepreneurs. The few of us who are entrepreneurs tend to be a bit greedy when we're selling products. But I don't want to go off on a rant. But ultimately, after Bill Cosby said what he said about the black family, it seems like shortly after not too many years after, a comedian made the joke saying Bill Cosby shouldn't talk because what about the women that he raped back in the day, And after that comedian, made that joke, then everybody started coming forward and saying, "Oh, we've been trying to," all these women started coming forward and said, "Oh, we've been trying to tell you guys for years that Mr. Cosby's been like this way and that way and so on and so forth, that he's been raping or whatever." But I guess too, when he attacked the black family, ultimately this day and age, the first group that would feel offended over his comments would ultimately be black women, because they've been the head, or they've had the head seat of the black community since like the 70s. And that I agree, there has been some deterioration, but they are they have that seat. So ultimately, if there is a failure in the community, then they will have to take some type of blame for that. And of course, black women don't like to be critiqued. So ultimately, you mess with the black family, you mess with black women, you mess with feminism. I think, and Bill Cosby also talked against the what do you call that? The Black Lives Matter movement as well. I think he might have did that. He might have did that around the same time as when he attacked the black family, or he examined. I'm sorry, the black family. I wouldn't say he attacked, but he examined the black family. Some people thought he attacked the black family. Then he said he was against the Black Lives Matter situation, and then he was talking against Donald Trump in terms of when Donald Trump was going to run for president. He said Donald Trump should shut his mouth and just run. He made some comments where some people might have thought, especially white conservatives, he got, he was out of his play. He wasn't, he should be in his place, so to speak. He's speaking against Trump, and then sometimes too, black celebrities get a bit too comfortable, where they'll just feel like, yeah, we're all Americans, blah blah blah. But then when a black man says something, a white man says something, is looked at one way. Black man says something, is looked at another way. White man may have done some things in terms of, I think Trump was in some situation with females during the same time as the Cosby allegations. Trump was accused of allegations, I think, right during his run for presidency. It didn't affect him at all. He still became president. But when Bill Cosby was accused of the same type of crime in terms of sexual assault with women, he's now being he's going to get a sentence. Both men are rich men. So you have to examine that, because the way most black conservatives, the way they look at race is in a very a very silly type of way they look at race. One example. Now, when I was in grad school, I worked shoulder to shoulder with this female, biracial female, and we were tutors for this. How do you go? What's the name of this program? It's like I think it was. It was like a program where it helped incoming freshmen, like kids, inner city kids who didn't do well in school. They went into this program to try to raise their academic skill level before they started their freshman year in college. Well, we were two of the teachers, and she says the way she examined race was we were having a discussion about the OJ trial, which some of you, if you're 30 and up, you may know what I'm talking about. How OJ was accused of killing his white wife. OJ being a quote unquote African American male accused of killing his white wife, and he was found not guilty. Of course, later on, they kept badgering the man, and he eventually received 9 years in prison for an unrelated charge. But she said that the way you look at race is, she says, see, it's not about race, it's about money, because OJ got off. Now, if you, she was referring to me, if you had have been accused of killing your wife, then you would have went to prison. OJ got off because he has money. Now, yeah, comparing me to OJ is more of a class type situation. Comparing OJ to a regular black man, yes. But if you're going to examine racism in this country, the best way to examine that is you have to compare a rich black man to a rich white man, being Donald Trump and Bill Cosby. Okay? Because comparing me to OJ, that's not going to show, that doesn't really show anything. That shows that, yeah, if two blacks get into a situation, the black with more money will have a better chance of getting off. When Puffy went to the club that night in 1999, when Puffy was married to Jennifer Lopez, and when a shooting happened in the nightclub in New York City, Shine ended up getting convicted. Puffy got off. He had the better lawyer, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, but you can't examine racism through that light because they're both the same race. That's a classism thing. But if you want to look at race, the Bill Cosby situation is perfect. Bill Cosby versus Donald Trump, both being accused of, sexual harassment or sexual assault, sexual indecency against women. Trump is accused during his presidential campaign. He still becomes president. Bill Cosby was accused, was found innocent in the first trial. Second trial, found guilty, and now he's going to be convicted, and he could look at serving up to 30 years in prison at 80 years old. So when these quote unquote conservative blacks, or some may call conservative Negroes, when they say me as Americans, they include themselves in the American ideology. I warn you, you should think twice, because it's not a we. Okay, if you know anything about America, there's a black America, there's a white America, there's an Asian America. And I told this other Asian woman that was in my graduate class, and we're not all equal. So to say we as Americans, America is about as divided as the states in the Union. There's a Texas, there's North Carolina, there's South. It's not all the same. So these black conservatives, when I hear them say we as Americans, they sound very confused to me. Especially when they come to my page, talking about this and that and all this nonsense. Some of the black conservatives are almost worse than the 17-year-old street hood guys. Some of those I can't stand. Some of them I can't stand as well. But but to prove my point, to go back to the topic, Bill Cosby could have been attacked for many different reasons. I think sometimes too, like you said, when blacks have money, they do tend to get too comfortable in America. Too comfortable? No, and that's not even quote unquote. They get too comfortable. They think it's just a money thing, and they can say whatever they want to say, and they can do whatever they want to do. And it's just about money. It's not about race. It's if you do the right thing. And a lot of conservative blacks tend to beat up on other blacks, and I do get it. I get some of what they're talking about. But if you're gonna have a dialogue, if you want to examine something, you can. If you want to properly examine a situation, look at the end result, and then look at the root cause of that result. I hear so many these white guys I used to work with. They say, "Yeah, man." He said, "These young black guys, want to listen to all this rap music. They're saying nigger, 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 nigger. It's like I don't want to, I don't want to hear that shit." And I said, "That's good, and I appreciate you not wanting to hear it. I don't want to hear a lot of it either." And you can blame them for playing it. However, that is the final result of, why do the kids these days like to hear the nigga, 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 and mostly they like to listen to rappers talking about destroying other blacks and destroying the black community. But the reason why these black rappers exist in the first place is because of the distributors. Okay, the distributors allow these guys to talk like that. These black rappers who speak this way are paid very well. They make a very lucrative living by talking this way. All right, and these kids have been conditioned to like this type of music. So again, if you want to be fair with your dialogue, you should examine both points: the root cause and the effect. But I just want to run that past you though, and just something that I've thought about. But be sure to like, to subscribe. I appreciate everyone who's been leaving comments. Be sure to express yourself. And anything you want to add to the discussion, feel free to do so. Remember to hit that bell. All right, and this is your boy, the author. You guys stay safe.